I'll tell you what, cousins, it's a chilly day out there. How to and how you do to all you cousins of mine out there. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get into a few things today. I'm going to show you some stuff that we just sold. We're going to package up and ship out today. I'm going to show you a handful of items that just came in that we're looking at to do the research on right now. And then I'm going to show you a variety of pieces of jewelry that we're also listing this week. And I'm going to answer a few questions that you have asked recently. Questions like, how do you price this jewelry? I got a piece, I don't know how to sell it or what to sell it for. Good question. We'll talk about it. Also, how do I test this? I think it might be made out of gold or silver. Well, we're going to show you how to do a scratch test for gold today, and we'll talk about that a bit as well. Let's just, stop talking and get into it. We're getting into a bunch of this jewelry here on the table today, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we're looking at here, kind of how I'm examining it, what I plan on doing with it, and then we'll talk about sort of the process I go through when I'm deciding how I'm going to sell it and what I'm going to price things at. But, here we are. We've got a bunch of these stick pins. In a moment, I'm going to actually do a scratch test on these to show you about gold content. We've got some very lovely ones here. This is kind of like a knot. This is like a lovely little, like a flower motif here. Little blue stones, some pearls in a flower shape. This is like an Art Deco looking piece. It's got an amethyst with seed pearls. It's a diamond shape with an enamel on it. This is also beautiful. This is an old, you can see that this is an opal, heavily red, like a lot of red in that opal. Some seed pearls all around it, and beautiful. It's a shorter one, but that's a very beautiful piece. The fire in that is delightful. Then we got this one. This is kind of like a monogrammed, etched initial that somebody would have had. This is definitely antique. This is probably late 1800s. And then this one, which is sort of like a two-tone metal. We don't know the metal yet. Of course, we're going to do a test on her, but I can't get it to zoom in. Come on, there we go. Nice little sapphire there as well. Beautiful. You can kind of see that two-tone there, kind of a golder color and a lighter, kind of a almost like a white gold color. And then a couple more down here. This one is one of my personal favorites just because I've never seen one like it. It's like a walking stick, a cane, with some beautiful design up top, and you got some enamel paint that's scratched. I've had this a while. I haven't actually sold it. Now that I got enough of these, I'm going to actually start listing a bunch together. And then here's a very elegant, understated one. It's just a single genuine pearl. Beautiful little pieces here. We've got these pocket watch chains as well, which I'll also use in a little bit to demonstrate some of the work we do to determine gold value. And then, of course, over here we've got a variety of more of these stick pins, from Victorian era, legitimately all the way up until this one right here with the little flower by my thumbnail is actually a Sarah Coventry, so a costume jewelry one. And here's some others as well. These are bagged up because I'm going to sell these in lots. These ones are absolutely not gold, or maybe gold filled, which is a lower value than these, which I suspect most have gold content in them. We're going to check them out in a minute. Moving on, folks, we have a variety of brooches and other pieces of costume jewelry. Moving on towards other pieces over here. Brooches, we've got some necklaces up here. This necklace right here, which is white with some beautiful kind of blue and white like ceramic beads here, you can see. This is a Trifari necklace, crown Trifari, as a matter of fact. So it's an older Trifari piece. Very nice. I think someone's going to like this. I don't exactly know the brand unless the brand is Paris, but this is like a kind of a cool gold tone necklace. And if you flip her over, if you're inspecting like we always do around the clasps and such, you'll find that it has the word, oh, come on now, you booger. There it is. Paris. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm going to try to zoom in. Well, my camera is not wanting to zoom in today, but you get the idea. We've got this piece, which is beautiful. Found this at an outdoor market quite a while ago. In fact, I believe it was featured in one of our videos. But this is a beautiful carnelian agate cabicons in this beautiful filigree kind of dangle brooch. It is an authentic old piece, sterling silver underneath of what would have been a gold leaf over that. So it has long since worn off, unfortunately, but it would have been quite striking in its day. It would have been really bright gold color like this brooch, which is a key shape, really cool looking. And this is a, the brand is Ben Amun, something like that. And I think that that's a decent piece right there. This is a very interesting piece in and of itself. It's like a little kind of a caricature of an Asian person with a hat and this little basket that they're holding. It's kind of dangly, but you can see it's this old swirly plastic here. Never seen one like it before. I've also never seen a little pin clasp like this before either, so not sure where it was made, but definitely an older piece just by the look of it. Here's a really beautiful kind of like this brushed gold color, gold tone rose brooch. I've searched all over this and there is not a mark for a precious metal. However, very faintly right here where my pinky nail is tapping, you can maybe see a little bit of a word, and it's Givenchy, or however you pronounce it, Givenchy, which is an older costume brand. They sell for really good money. I've got actually two of these. One has a much better mark than the other one, but we're excited about those. Got another couple of cool pieces here. You can see these brooches. This is almost like a folded over leaf. Kind of a cool look there. And then this one I like because it's, again, that old brushed, kind of softer gold tone color, but with a couple of pairs of baguette rhinestones. Nice, no mark, no brand on it, but I think that they're both, higher and nicer, pieces. Moving over, we've got a bunch of these little bar type pins / brooches. This one definitely, and this one being a little bit on the newer side. Okay, this is quite a bit newer, I would say. It's got like a pink, light purple stone in it. This has genuine, kind of lower quality rubies in it. It is a gold-filled piece. It says RG B, I guess, or RGP rather, rolled gold plate. It's a gold-plated piece. And then over here we got a couple cool ones. These are sometimes these smaller pins are like for children, baby pins. Sometimes they're lingerie pins. And let's see if I can't zoom in here and show you that on this part right here where my nail is at, you can see that it actually says PAT and it has a number. It's the patent date. And a cousin got on recently and made a comment about how you can tell, you can date brooches a lot of times by the clasp itself, and that these, what they call a C clasp, which is just, if I turn it this way, it looks like a C, right? It's not a safety clasp, so this thing can pop out if you're not careful, but this was the older style. So this sort of dates it a little bit. This one's a beautiful piece because it's got this nice, it's a gold tone, probably is at least gold filled, etched with this sort of floral design here. Very nice. And again, we got that same type of a clasp here, so you know that it's older. This is probably from the early part of the 1900s, possibly 1800s, but we're talking probably teens, maybe 1920s. And then this one's perplexed me. If anybody has an idea on this, I'd love to know because I've not found it yet. But look at this. It is basically like a scene, like an Asian scene. You've got a mountain in the distance, a couple of homes on the left, and then a large, building structure on the right with like trees and things around it. Really cool. Again, it's got that older C clasp, and if I open her up, you'll see that there is an Asian character. Oh, doggone yes. Let's see if I can't There you go. Do you see that right there? I don't know. I think this is the correct, I don't know, I may have it upside down. I don't know. But does anybody, if anyone out there recognizes that mark, my guess is it is either a mark for a particular type of metal or it is a mark for a maker or manufacturer. Different pieces of ceramics and pottery will have sometimes a variety of different types of marks to denote the age, who was in charge of the country at that time, who the emperor was or whoever. And then sometimes it's just about who made it and or the metal purity. Now let's move over to some of these other pieces. We're talking necklaces and bracelets. Starting off here, we have a nice little bracelet with these kind of cabbed looking plastic pieces in here. Got kind of the open back look. I've seen a lot of pieces from Coro like this. These particular two pieces, this bracelet here and this necklace, which is sort of the same idea. Some of these old plastics, and you see there's some crackling in some of these and some yellowing of the stones. These are both pieces by the Kramer, K-R-A-M-E-R company, which is a fairly well-known costume jewelry brand and can bring some decent monies along with other brands like Coro that I mentioned. This is an interesting piece. We haven't sold it yet, and I'm gonna get her up with some new pictures today. It's a bracelet. It is not magnetic, and so it may have silver content in it, but I just don't know fully. I thought maybe it was sterling silver, but I don't know. I can't remember if I had fully tested it or not, but you can see it's got like dragon's heads here, which is really kind of neat, frankly. And, you know, it can bend kind of around. It's got this interesting wire situation. Very well made, very creative. I've not seen many like it out there. So I'm excited about see what that'll sell for. This is another beautiful little bracelet. At first glance, it just looks like maybe like a well-done, good quality piece of costume jewelry. But if you flip it over and you examine where the clasp is right down here you'll see. In fact, let me put it down and see if I can zoom in for you here. Oh, will that do it? Yeah, it says, I've got it upside down, but it says sterling and 925 right there on the back, right here where my thumbnail's at. So this is and actually it says 950, which is actually a little bit strange. It's at least sterling silver, maybe even more higher content than 925. But of course, we always want to scratch test these things to make sure before we go selling them as a particular thing, right? Here's a cool piece. This with this blue stone. It's called lapis lazuli or lazuli. I've heard it both ways, and I don't know what is the appropriate pronunciation, but this is probably I've seen lots of pieces like this. This could either be not silver, it could be something like 800 silver, so it's not exactly sterling, but it does have silver content in it. It's definitely tarnished some, but this is I think that this is more customarily made in other parts of the country. This is not a United States made piece unless it was made stylized after another piece. But it's a very pretty piece. People who like that stone or that color would be very interested in it. This is an interesting, necklace here. It actually unbends and it would open up so that you could put it on your neck. No markings on it. It does seem like it's sterling silver. We'll have to do a double check on that. And then we got these. I was real excited when I saw them, but then I noticed, it's got some greenish in there, some yellowish for sure, and also a couple of missing stones, as you can see there. So I'm hoping that I can find a stone to replace it before I go to sell it, because these are Carnegie, Hattie Carnegie, is that right? Who is that? I get them confused sometimes. Miriam Haskell and then Carnegie. These are some higher end brands, folks. Sometimes their earrings can sell for hundreds of dollars, believe it or not, which is, exactly what I want to hear. Lastly, we got this little bracelet, which has also got some yellowing in it, as you can see, unfortunately, but it's a beautiful piece. In fact, if I can find the little clasp with my thumb, it's hidden so well. It's such a, look at this, I haven't even found it yet. Here he is, barely. Look at that. You can, if I turn it to the side, you can barely see where it's popping up. And if I press hard enough with my thumb, well, heavens to Betsy Ross here. There we go. When I lay it out, look at, this is just a stunning little piece as you lay it out. It's very, very classy, very elegant looking. Flip it over. It's pretty well made, pretty intricate. but there are no markings except right here. There's a marking that says, I guess, N, the letter N, but I don't actually know what that is for. I don't know what jewelry maker marks it with an N with a circle. If you know, please let me know. But I'm excited about this piece. It's very kind of elegant, luxurious looking. Imagine if this was all diamonds. Holy goodness, it'd be worth thousands of dollars. But it is a really nice remake of something that would have been a high-end brand. Beautiful, and I can't wait to get her up in the store. All right, now to some of the weird stuff. Look at this, folks. We have an old pocket watch chain attached to what appears to be what was at one time maybe a cufflink or something like that, that are masks, which I don't know if these are masks made to look like certain like gods, or if this is like a thespian thing, like actors' masks, or what exactly it is. But it's unlike anything I've ever seen before, first of all. And then on the other hand, look at this puppy. Look at this guy. I don't know what this is supposed to look like. Textured, a strange face, and on the back, pretty nondescript, except right here where my thumbnail is, right there on that very tip. If you flip it over, it has a stamp of 800. So this is silver, 800 out of 1,000 parts silver. And if I polished her up, it'd be nice and shiny, but I kind of like the tarnish and the texture of the face. It gives it a little bit more character. And somebody attached it to it. I have no idea. I've never seen these before. I have no idea how to even evaluate it, to be very honest with you. It's got some semi-precious, like, you know, metal content value. And the pocket chain on its own would have some value. But putting these together, I really don't know. It's bizarre. This also is really strange, but stinking cool. And I see these a lot from the early 1900s, like 1900 to the teens. Sometimes you'll see postcards like this where a person will be holding a hand out or holding flowers, or two hands coming in, just floating hands. But this is made to be like a charm, or maybe on the end of a chain of some kind. It is sterling silver, and it's just someone's hand. It's just a person's hand coming out of a sleeve. Really cool. I'd never come across one before in person, so that was cool. And then this. And folks, if you know what this is, please tell me. What you're looking at, with the design at least, is an old baseball player. I mean, really old. Late 1800s baseball player. Look at the cap. Look at how that is on there. This man's head. But here's the deal. On the inside, it's hollow completely. Not all that heavy. It could be silver, although I don't think it is. I think it's something else. But I don't even know what it was made for. Why? Like, it's almost the kind of thing you'd put on the end of like a pencil or something. Like those erasers that go on. But that, I mean, why would you do that? I have no idea what it's for. If anybody has an idea, please let me know. I think it's cool, but I don't quite know how to price it yet. So, last thing I'll show you here before we get into testing for gold, and then of course subsequently talking about how we determine how to price things, is this ring we came across in a large lot of stuff. It was quite dingy and dirty, kind of blackish around, and I just did I used a little bit of this right silver cream to polish up one side, and you can see it got real nice and bright. And so we'll do some more work on this to polish her up real good. What you're looking at the top there, and if I can look in the light, you'll see, look at that color. Oop, back here. You can see some of that glue residue on either side where they glued it down in. But what you're looking at, I believe, I haven't tested them yet, are two tourmalines. A green tourmaline and like more of kind of a peachy orange tourmaline. Which are semi-precious gemstones that are used a lot of times. There's some beautiful tourmaline that facet cut stuff that you can get, but they've made a sterling silver squared off ring with these bulging tourmalines, clearly an artisan custom job. It will fit on my pinky finger, so I know it's around a size 6.5 to 7, right around that, because that's what my pinky finger is. Really cool. Going to get her polished up, see if I can find any like that. But this is definitely going to be kind of marketed as a, a custom jewelry piece. I've already printed out the labels, folks, but we got this old The People's Home Journal with a couple of golfers. All right, out here. That's going out in the mail. We got this bag of scrap silver that's going to go out. All right. We've got this awesome old bottle right here. Look at that. It's a beautiful old kind of cobalt bottle. We've got a nice vintage Nikon F. Got this old Aladdin lamp that has been converted into an electric lamp. This is kind of like a, I don't know, almost like a peachish brownish color. Got another Canon camera down here. We got this old saddle that's going out in the mail. And we got this old piece of equipment that cuts stones that we got secondhand, but it was basically new condition. Real excited to get those out. And then this is what we're going to be looking at once the jewelry is finished, is some of these old whiskey jugs. We got the Pioneer jug, straight bourbon whiskey from Daniel Boone. It's a half gallon, folks. We've got this one right here. It has no markings on it. I have no idea the age or where it came from, so that's going to take some research. Got one right here, Tullamore blended Irish whiskey. Got the nice little stopper in there still as well, and you got these, the sales tax. This one was from Georgia. Look at that. Got the number, the liquor tax stamp on it. And then a tiny little one, Luray Caverns, Virginia. It's like a little keepsake. It's missing the stopper in it. And then finally we got Henry McKenna right here. And Fairfield County, Fairfield, Nelson County, since 1855. And I don't know, you know, by looking at the stickers, this is probably from the 70s, 60s or 70s. I'm not exactly sure when, but I'll do some research on it. Old whiskey jugs, especially old ones, can go for oodles and gobs of money, folks. These are all not that valuable. We're talking probably in the $15 to $25 or $30 per. This one a little bit less, most likely. But look for jugs that have this color, the dark brown, in this format, meaning a jug that will have some writing on it with the dark brown top. This portion being that dark brown, and then this having old script or old writing. Those are the ones that really command big values. All right, cousins, let's talk about scratch testing to determine gold content. This is not going to be like the everlast word on this subject, but I'm going to give you a general idea of how to do it. What you're going to need, or at least this basic setup. You need a little scratch thing here, this piece of stone or whatever it is that they use. It's got this abrasiveness on it. It usually comes with the pack. And then you're going to have 10, 14, 18, and 22 karat acids here that are made specifically to eat at the gold content at that particular carat of purity. And so all that to say, 10 karat is not going to eat 10 karat, but it will eat anything under 10 karat. And 14 karat will not eat 14 karat, but it will eat 10, and so on. And so what you'll do is you'll start with 10, and you'll work your way up until the substance is dissolved, and then that will tell you what purity of gold it is roughly. I will be performing a couple of different tests today. What you're looking at right here are a variety of vintage and antique stick pins. Now, just by looking at these, you cannot tell which one of these has gold or doesn't have gold, or specifically the purity weight. But I'll tell you that there's at least one in this group that's 18 karat gold. There's two that are 14 karat gold. There's a few that are 10, and then there's some that have none. And you wouldn't necessarily know unless you did a scratch test. We'll also do a test on these. These are two different vintage pocket watch chains, which can also be made of gold in different materials, depending on the age and the manufacturer. To start our experiment today, we're going to use these 4 stick pins. This one right here that's got like a knot motif. This one right here that has an amethyst with some seed pearls and some white enamel, very Art Deco style, okay? We're going to use this one right here. It's kind of an Asian looking motif. Maybe some dragons there. And then we're going to use this one. It looks like a little walking stick. like a cane, basically, which is pretty darn cool. All right, so what you'll do is you'll take your little piece of jewelry, in this case stick pins, and you're just going to scratch a little bit, a little bar there, you can see. And I'm going to do them next to each other, and I'm going to make sure I keep them in the correct order because I do not want to mistake them, right, for one another. In fact, let me get a little bit of a better rub there on that one. There. I'm going to do 2 over here. Real good. And then finally this one here. All right, so we've got 4 distinct marks. We've got these in order so we know which is which. And then what we're going to start with is we're going to take the 10 karat right here, this 10 karat acid, and we're going to drip on there, and we're going to see what happens. All right, you can see the 4 marks here. So we're going to start over here, and we're going to drip a little drip there, okay? There. And you can see immediately the very first one did not change at all. The second one started changing, meaning you can see that there is some stuff being eaten away at that second one. The first one has not moved at all. That third one's kind of starting to eat a little bit, and so is that fourth one, just a smidge. We're going to give it a moment or two to do its work, to do its eating. But what I can tell you from the get-go is that everything here has gold content in it. You see this? Because it didn't eat it immediately. If it eats it immediately, there's no gold content. Sometimes things are gold-plated, and you got to be careful with those because they can show a false positive sometimes if you haven't got down below that plating. But now let's move over to the 14 karat right here, and let's see what happens when I apply that over the 10 karat. All right, so nothing has failed immediately with flying colors. Let's move on to the next. This is the 14 karat. Drip. Drip. Oh, do you see the major change that happened right there? That was a big change. Let's go over here. Boop. Oh, do you see how it's eating at it? And that, whoa, disappeared immediately. All right, so this tells me a couple of things. Burst that little bubble there. Hold on. Okay. So this one here on the far end, right here, that just went toast. I mean, it just bit the dust as soon as I dropped the 14 on it. That tells me that this is not even 10 karat gold. That was probably plated with a gold plating, okay? So this one failed. The one I'm holding in my fingers, the Asian one, that's maybe got a gold plate, but mostly copper and other metals, all right? Next one, the next 2 up here are being fairly significantly eaten by the 14 karat, okay? They haven't completely gone toast yet, but if I put a little bit more on these here, and I let it go a little bit more, give it a little bit more time, these are going to mostly be eaten up. If they were 14 karat gold, they should hold, right? If they're at least 14 karat, they should hold with the 14. The 14 is only able to eat something under that. And so what you're seeing here when it turns to that darker copper color and it's being eaten away is that those 2 are 10 karat gold pieces. This one right here that has the little cane, and this one right here that's the beautiful Art Deco piece with the seed pearls and the amethyst, okay? But have you noticed one is standing out in the crowd here? Whew. That puppy is at least 14 karat gold. That's great. That's the one with the little knot. Now we're going to move up then to the next one, 18 karat. Let's see where that takes us. All right, moment of truth here, 18 karat. A little drip on there. Now we're starting to see some stuff being eaten. Starting to see it be eaten a little bit there. And boy, we've put a lot of juice here on this. I'm going to put a little bit more. But again, it's still holding up pretty well. So we know for sure this has got a good gold content in it. The other two, 10 karat, they're almost completely wiped away by the 14 karat, and the other with maybe just some plating on it. It held up. Stuff that has no plating on it at all will just be eaten immediately a lot of times. But you see how that's eaten through? It's eaten through. What that means is that's a 14 karat gold piece. So this is the winner, folks. This little knot right here, you wouldn't have known by looking at it. 14 karat gold. Let's get that sucker up and for sale. All right, folks, we got this all cleaned off here. And I'll just say, you know, especially if you're inexperienced, make sure you wear gloves, be in a well-ventilated area, that sort of thing. These are acids, so don't wipe your eyes, stuff like that. It would not be good. So now what we're going to do is scratch this on here as well, and we're going to compare these two. With things like chains and necklaces and stuff, you always want to scratch test both the latch or the clasp as well as the chain itself, because sometimes they may be different types of metals. Sometimes clasps themselves might not be made of a precious metal because they're just using metals that are more durable, or a clasp has been changed, or things like that. So test them both, because if you try to sell something as if it's 100% one metal and it ends up not being, you might get in trouble for that. So let's get these scratched, and then we'll do another demonstration. All right, we have our two. On the left, we got this chain. On the right, we got this one. This is a little bit more of a rosy color, as you can see. But again, we start off with the 10. When we start with that, let's drip one here on that, one here on that. Let's take a look here and see where we're at so far. All right, so no major changes on the 10 at all, okay? No major changes. Now, that could mean that it's 10 karat solid. It could mean that it is plated. It could mean that it's higher than 10. We won't know till we get to the 14, although I am seeing some eaten right over here on that, looks like. So we'll move on to the next one. The next one here is the 14, okay? I'm going to drip a little 14 on that. Okay. Ooh, it's holding up. Look at that, gone immediately. So this one here is just, I would say, gold filled, right? On the outside, it does have some gold content, but it is not solid gold, all right? This one, however, even with the 14, is looking pretty good. We'll drop some more 14 on that. Nothing, folks. Nothing. That's looking pretty good so far. Well, I suppose we need to move on to the 18 and see what happens then. All right, 18 karat it is. All right, now we're starting to see some degradation there in the metal. Got to give it some time, move it around a little bit. You're seeing it starting to eat. Starting to eat at it. Not fast, not fully, but it is being eaten. Now, if this was over 18 karat, it should not be eating at all, again. And when we wipe it, I'm going to wipe it really fast, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So I've got a tissue here. I'm just going to kind of wipe this clean. Some remains, but you can see that it has been eaten by that 18K. Which means that we're talking about something that is 14 karat gold, solid gold, in this chain right here, whereas this one probably has some gold plating, but is not a solid gold piece. Rusty's Hot Tips! Okay, let's talk about pricing, folks. I've selected two things that we're going to look up to determine how I want to price it today. First off, it's going to be this piece of costume jewelry, which you saw earlier, and also this piece here, which is our 14 karat, our only one that was made of 14 karat gold stick pin from probably, Victorian era. Let me show you how to do this. As I step into showing you this process, I want to say a couple things first. Whenever I do pricing of my items, it's based on a variety of factors, partly based on what values that piece is commanding currently online, okay? And I'm talking eBay specifically. What are the comparables? What have they sold for recently? But also, we're talking about what are my needs? Do I need the money quickly? Can I let the money float for a while? Do I still have money in the item? or have I paid it off? Like did I buy it in a lot and the lot's been paid off and now it cost me nothing? All of these are factors. And so I want to stress that there is no right or wrong way to price something. There's no right or wrong way. It's based on you more than almost anything, other than the current value of what they're selling for. But if you want to sell it or try to sell it for more than what it's, commanding, which you can do sometimes, if you want to sell it fast for quite a bit less, a 50% discount, that's up to you. But there is no right or wrong way. I'm going to show you more than the right way to price it. I'm going to show you what old Rusty does before he decides how to price it. So what I'm going to show you is how to find the current prices or a general idea of the current prices. You take that knowledge first. And after you have that knowledge, then you make a decision based on what your needs as the seller are. So let's get into it. And I'll talk a little bit more about that too. With Givenchy flower brooch, we're just going to start with flower. This is how I would normally do it, because I don't know if they knew it was a rose or would use the word rose. So let's jump in here. All right. So we're going to have 42 listings. Okay, there's a decent number. The first thing I do before I even look at what's sold is, since there's only 42, I'm just going to roll down and see if I can find my exact one. So we're going to roll down. I'm not seeing it, but I am seeing some pretty high prices. It's getting me excited. $519, $225. Very nice. $120, $251. But I'm not seeing ones like mine exactly. So my first thought is, maybe what I have is rare. Or maybe all the ones that are like mine have already sold. They're a hot commodity. So I'm going to roll back up here, since I haven't found it, until I get to this part on the side here, right here. Do you see this? And it says sold items. Now I just want to look and see which ones that say flower brooch have sold. Oh, here's one. It's similar. Not quite. $95. I'd be happy with that. But only 33 have sold. Let's look at all the sold items. Not seeing it, not seeing it, not seeing it, not seeing it. Okay, well now I'm starting to think, maybe they didn't use the word flower. Maybe they used the word rose. So let's go up here, folks, and let's adjust our search query and put in rose instead. It is a rose brooch after all. All right, 5. Well, again, similar ones, but not the one that I have. So now I'm going to take off the sold, go back to not looking at sold, and see what we got here. Only one. All right. Well, folks, the truth is I already did this prior to making this video. And you know what happened when I started searching? I said to myself, maybe my naked eye test was not accurate. Maybe this is not a Givenchy. So I got out my loupe, and guess what I discovered? I was wrong. It is actually a Giovanni rose brooch. Oh man, and guess what happens when I look up the correct one? Well, this is a silver tone, but it's exactly the one that I have. Down here, there it is. Boom, got it. They're asking $15 for that one, plus shipping. Here's another one. Here's another one. So there's several of them, folks. $20 for that. Okay. $8.99 for one just like mine. Well, not nearly the prices I was hoping for, but at least I found the right one. Sometimes you need to do a little bit more research. So now if I jump in here, $8, $5, $4.91. Okay, so not all that exciting, to be honest with you. Certainly I can make some money on it, and this happens to come out of a lot, which I've already paid off, so I don't have any costs that I'm trying to get back in this, but not as exciting. So I have a choice to make. I can either price it at the highest, which is kind of like in the $10 to $15 range, or I could go $4.99 and hopefully sell it fast. It depends on what your needs are, whether or not you'll let it wait around for someone to pay $4.88, and the reason they paid $4.88, folks, is because it's new in box. It's never been used. It's got the original box. Or, $11.50. This was an auction, so maybe an auction would be the better thing. It's selling for $4.99 at buy it now, but it's selling for $11.50 at auction. So what I would likely do, folks, is I would look at the high end, $20. I would look at the low end, $4.99, and I would say, all right, if I want $20, it's going to take me quite a while. If I want $4.99, I could probably sell it within a week. And then I like to price things on the upper end, not the highest, but certainly not the lowest. And I'll usually take offers from people. If they start watching it, I might send them an offer, and I won't mind selling it right in the middle range there. So $10 to $12 for this is probably what I'd want. So I'd probably market it at maybe $14.99 with a cheap shipping, or maybe $14.99 with no shipping, and then I could accept an offer if I want to, or I can let it ride. That's what I would do with this particular piece. Now we're going to move into searching for this 14 karat gold, yellow gold, vintage stick pin. And I'm going to go ahead and search knot because it looks like a knot to me. Now, if I don't find anything off this search query, then I will probably take off the word knot and just look up 14K gold stick pin. You can see I've got 73 results. Again, before I go to sold items, I want to just see what people are asking. And it looks to be a little bit all over the place. Here's one that's similar, but not exactly right. This one's closer, but it has a little pearl in the center of it. Mine does not. It just has another little bead of gold. Sort of like this, but again, that's got a pearl. We're looking at between 85 and 202 so far. 75, 30, 150 with a large stone. Ours doesn't have a stone. This is closer, still got the pearl. A lot of these look to have a diamond in the center or a pearl in the center. Ours does not. So we're still looking, going down. Okay, this is much closer, except there's no little dot. And it doesn't have to be exact, but the closer you can get, the better, right? But we're still seeing mostly in the $100 or more range, as you can see, $100 to $200 range. It is 14 karat gold after all. Here's one. This looks pretty close, as does this, but again, we got the diamond. I'm hoping we can find one that looks just like ours, but we may not be able to. But these are close enough, folks, and this is giving you an idea. In the $120 to $250 range for a lot of these. Some of them have diamonds, some of them have pearls, some of them don't. But now that I got an idea of what people are asking, I'm going to go look at what's sold. Because you know what? People can ask for anything. It doesn't really matter what they ask for. What matters is what they get. That's what we want to see. So I'm going to click sold items. And I'm going to see there's only 14 that is sold. Here's one very, very similar. This one only went for $36.95, which is too bad because that's probably basically what the scrap gold weight is on that, which seems like a pity that someone would sell it for just what the value of the gold is, since it's over 100 years old. Here's one that's got enamel. That's pretty unique. I wouldn't go off of that. Here's one for $64, $75, $142. So we're really looking at around the 40 to 50, all the way up even into the $100 range. Probably because this is a fairly simple design. It's just a small knot. It's not all that heavy. My guess is probably somewhere in the 2 to 3 gram range. But 14 karat gold, folks, is right around $60 for a gram of 14 karat right now. So these are selling at or under spot gold weight a lot of times. So I wouldn't personally want to sell it for this, but I know that if I want to sell it quickly, for example, if I want to auction it off, I'd be looking in the 60, 70, maybe $100 range if I'm lucky for something like this. So again, do I want to sell it fast? If so, throw it up at a 99-cent auction. It's going to sell for around spot gold weight, maybe a little more. If I want to get the best value out of it, then I should probably put it as a buy it now, like this person did, at a higher price, and wait till the right buyer comes along and really wants this piece. That's generally how I operate off this stuff. Now that I know the general idea of how much people are going to pay for this, that helps me know what my baselines are. Now, whether I want to take less or more, that has everything to do with me, my needs at the time. And you know what? My needs change on even a daily basis around here. So my strategies that I employ change maybe different times on different days, and sometimes depending on the classification of the item itself. I hope that helps some. I hope that showing you how I do scratch tests and talking about how I do my research and stuff can help you a little bit. Again, I'm not perfect, and these are not the only ways to do these things. It's just a little bit of information for your arsenal. You'll decide for yourself, but I hope that it gets you in the right direction for where you're heading. Good luck hunting those treasures, folks. And before I let you go today, I want to show you one thing I came across recently that I have yet to investigate, but it's pretty cool. Maybe you can help me figure out what it is. I came across this in a lot of jewelry that I bought recently. It's got this really cool cord on it, and it's got these different compartments, as you can see. And if I slide this up, you'll see that the rope goes through each compartment, and each compartment has, it kind of fits together in this way so that you can keep things stored separately. So look at that. Now, this material, I don't know if it's a wood with some kind of a weird lacquer on it, or if it's just plastic, but it's got this cool design on it, and it is, I've never come across one myself before. So I'm going to do some research today, but I thought I'd just throw it out there before I even do it, because although I'm trying to share, I don't want to mess with that with my one hand. I want to share my thoughts and my experiences with you guys in case it could help, but I'm also interested in learning from you guys. So if you've ever seen anything like this, if you have any ideas, please point me in the right direction. Until next time, folks, have a great one.
Beat-o, boop, boop, let's go make some money. Rusty, 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 how to